So guys, Doran Bland has had a really good camp. He played well in the preseason game versus the Denver Broncos. He also has played pretty well at the nickel corner and the outside corner this week facing the Los Angeles Rams. So now we have a situation here, a situation where we're now discussing the future I'm sorry, the future of Kelvin Joseph versus Bland. Now, mind you this, Kelvin Joseph has been through a lot this offseason with being a person that has been a person that was questioned regarding an unfortunate event of a murder of a young man in Greenville outside of a nightclub. And he has since been vindicated, so to speak, and that he's not a person of interest and that he's been absolved of, wrongdoing in this matter, etc., so on and so forth. So we have football camp now. So you had all that going on in the spring, and now you have football camp going on. And so the thing to remember when you talk about Kelvin Joseph is that he had a first round grade. He had some issues, some background stuff in Kentucky that pushed him to the second round a couple years ago now. Kelvin Joseph is a first round talent. Kelvin Joseph is a first round talent. And I'm very, very happy that it's super competitive in terms of the DBs, in terms of what's going on in camp and with these guys battling it out. What really opened up the door for Bland was Jordan Lewis and his hamstring injury, which will keep him out for the rest of the preseason. However, we're not in the regular season yet. And I'll say one thing at the end of the video, but I'll continue to explain this before. But keep in mind this, Kelvin Joseph has game reps. Kelvin Joseph has tenure playing in the NFL at this point. We don't know right now what Bland will do in a regular season game. And that's why we call it preseason. Think about the word pre as in preparation. It's not the real game, but it's preparation for the game. So I don't want us to jump the gun, Cowboys fans, and all of a sudden throw a first round talent away like a Kelvin Joseph. There's no reason for us to throw him away, because if you throw him away and you're being fair and balanced, then also you got to throw away Nahshon Wright, because Nahshon Wright also has not had the best camp by all reports. But what are we relying on in this situation? We're relying on guys to pick it up, to get their legs underneath them, and as we get through these next few preseason games, to be able to really turn it on and round into form for the regular season. It's one thing when you have a rookie, and no offense, and very, very happy about what Bland is doing. He's going to add a lot of depth. He's going to add another option at cornerback for us that we need. You can't be deep enough on defense, because, especially at cornerback, because invariably people get nicked up, people get injured, anything can happen. So you need him to play well. So I'm super happy and excited he's playing well. But should we fire Kelvin Joseph? Should we throw him away? Should we discard him like yesterday's trash because we've had a few weeks of good play from Bland? Should we do that? Well, then let me ask this question. Should we discard Nahshon Wright, who showed so much potential coming out his rookie year, because he hasn't looked quite as good in camp this season? Should we throw him away as well? I think you guys know the answer to that question. The answer to that question is absolutely not. We need to stay the course. We need to be patient. I'm happy about his performance. I'm optimistic. What I will say is that we want to see some regular season games. We want to see how the thing goes with you when it's actually on the line, when it's Sunday in the late August, early September, where we really playing for something and we're not just preparing. So if we see that the first several weeks of this season, then I'll make another video and my take will be different in this matter. But right now, let's be very happy that we have potentially added some solid depth to the defensive back locker room. But let's not throw out a first round talent who's shown upside, who's made plays playing in some games, some actual literal preseason games this past year. Let's not also downgrade or throw away Nahshon Wright because you had a bad camp or some bad practices, because that could be happening for a variety of reasons. We don't know the full story. I think I have an indication on what's going on with Kelvin Joseph. I think that mentally he has to get past some stuff, and he has to lock in and really something that's really hard for most football players to do is compartmentalize, right? And the great football players do it. You have to forget about what's going on in your life and the emotional things that's affecting you. And when you come on the football field, actually just lock in. And that becomes the only thing that matters. And then you get really, really great performance. And I think that in the maturation process of what's going on personally with Kelvin Joseph, that you'll see that development. And I think that you'll see him shake out of it, man. I think you'll see him shake out of it, focus on what's going on the field, what's the most important things that he needs to accomplish right now. So do we have any thoughts, and I don't care what anybody says, should it be any thought of getting rid of Kelvin Joseph at this point? Absolutely freaking not. Thank you, Bland. Thank you for everything you're doing. We appreciate it. We're proud of you. We love you. Hey, keep rocking. But we keeping Kelvin Joseph on this roster. We're going to eliminate that thought right now, because that is fool's gold, and that will be a emotional move that will weaken the roster, which, by the way, Dan Quinn, he's too smart for that. He's way too smart for that. And that's why he has a rotation of defensive linemen, and he's trying to get a rotation established of linebackers. So if you look how Dan Quinn is structuring his defense, he's structuring it to where you have depth on every level. You have depth on defensive line, you have depth at linebackers, you have depth in the secondary, and you have interchangeable pieces where people can play different positions. So he's been really brilliant. Hats off and salute to Dan Quinn for how he's put this team together. So it's no possible way that he's gonna let Kelvin Joseph get cut or walk out the door. So let's talk about some more pressing issues, which I will in the next video, but let's put this one to rest, because that, my friends, is not happening. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Boss Cowboys Sports. You can follow us on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. Special shout out to the boss man himself, Boss Cowboy, that is, putting it down, pumping out the content, man. Y'all put some fire emojis in the video, and until next time, see you.